It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for being with us on Unity 93.3 FM and of course Unity TV this lovely Wednesday morning, the 20th of September 2023. Of course, one thing is possible. It doesn't matter what you feel against your brother, your sister, an individual or group of individuals. Peaceful coexistence. Why don't you make attempts to live in peace with your neighbor? If you make attempts and if you try that, I am sure, I can assure you already that you would not regret you did, because I am a witness. Let's live in peace. Beatrice Adamuyeji is my name, but you can call me Kobe if you like. I'm in the studio this morning with my brother, Mr. Shabu Duro, an in-house analyst and political scientist. I'll let him say a very big good morning to you, our listener, and of course our viewer out there. Good morning, Duro.
Thank you, Kobe. Thank you very much for the very kind introduction. Thank you very much, viewer and listener. It's a pleasure being here this beautiful Wednesday morning. We hope that it's gonna be an interesting ride as usual. You're welcome. Yes,
of course. Before we go deep into that, because we have political, the atmosphere not only on the plateau. But I want to believe somehow in other states as well.
Yes.
The atmosphere is so tense, and but it's good to have such an atmosphere. But of course, we get to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and so why don't we begin with this one says it's coming from Daily Trust.
Okay.
And it says a tribunal, GNI appeals for calm. GNI is an umbrella body, speaking on behalf of Muslims,
yes,
on the plateau here.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, calling and appealing for calm.
Definitely.
Yes, on the plateau.
Yes.
And by extension, in Nigeria.
As a whole.
Why not we?
Okay, yeah. I think that's quite timely, Kobe. It's timely because, like you said in your, opening remarks, the atmosphere probably, in the country as a whole, or in many parts of the country, seems a bit tense, probably due to certain, emerging political developments, especially, issues that have to do with the, expected, tribunal judgment on governorship petitions, and all of that. This is the issue. As we speak, of course, judgment was delivered in Zamfara State on Monday on, the governorship, dispute between, the current governor, Dauda Lawal Dere, and of course the immediate past governor, Yusuf Matawalli, and then yesterday being Tuesday, I think, today being Wednesday, another judgment is expected in Kano State. Of course, it's also a governorship judgment being expected. And of course, later on we'll get to know what is going to happen. Which between the APC and the NNPP, which is in control of the state at the moment, is going to have the last laugh and all of that. And so that too seems to be generating some tension, among supporters of the two political parties. Yeah, this is the issue. And of course, talking about Kano State, I've always said this, and we all do know, Kano State is one state that seems, contagious as far as northern Nigeria is concerned. When something happens in Kano State, it seems to have, a contagious effect on other parts of the north, just like Plateau State, probably because of its cosmopolitan nature, and all of that. And of course, that shouldn't be surprising. There are lots and lots of Canonians or Kano indigenes who are resident in Plateau State and other parts of the country. So they are naturally interested in what's going on in Kano State, their home state, and things like that. It's just like a Plateau indigene, maybe being resident in Lagos State. Yeah. Whenever it has to do with Plateau State, you discover that you are naturally interested, even though you may not necessarily be resident in Plateau State. And that's why you see the tension seems a bit high, and things like that. And then, of course, that of Plateau State, which is actually what I'm sure has informed the call by JNI, is also being expected. I don't know when, because of course there had been rumors to the effect that the judgment was going to be delivered yesterday, but of course we didn't see anything of that nature, and so we look forward to what actually happens. But I think, you know, the call by the Jama'atu Nasrul Islam is quite timely, you know, because I think when we were discussing yesterday with our guest, Honorable Abu Malik MG, I think we paid attention to this issue. The tension, you know, being generated, I mean, you know, the tense nature of, you know, the entire political atmosphere as a result of, you know, frayed nerves, heated, you know, sentiments and things like that. You know, this is the issue. But like we've always said, there's a need to find a way to manage it, you know, some of these feelings, some of these emotions, some of these sentiments. Yeah, we do understand that people must have feelings, people must have sentiments, people must have emotions. And Plateau State particularly, you know, I think has been a case study, you know, as far as, you know, ethno-religious, you know, politics is actually concerned, you know, and we look forward to when, you know, we will be, I think, politically, you know, enlightened enough, or, you know, to be able to outgrow, you know, some of these retrogressive tendencies and things like that. If you look at the 2023 governorship elections, and, you know, how, you know, I mean, the religious dimension it took, the religious coloration it was given, you understand the religious and ethnic imputations that actually lays the election, you actually have reason to worry and begin to ask yourself if we are really making any headway or any pathway, you know, as far as political development, you know, is concerned. And so I think, given the nature of the, you know, the seemingly ethno-religious nature of the 2023 governorship election, it is only natural, you know, for for sentiments to be high, for emotions to be high, you know, as the, you know, judgment of the governorship, you know, election is actually being, you know, awaited. But like we've always said, citizens have to understand that at the end of the day, Plateau will always be Plateau, right? I do understand that, yeah, supporters of the incumbent, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, will naturally want him to actually continue, you know, and all of that. Those of Professor Nentawe Yulwada too, another fine gentleman, will want him to come on board as governor, you know, and things like that. So they naturally will be expecting, you know, the result of the judgment to go against the incumbent, you know, so that, you know, their preferred candidate can actually, you know, have an opportunity, you know, and all of that.
Yes.
But again, like we've always said, it's not just about what you want. You know, it is our destiny to be governed, you know, as Plateau citizens for the next 4 or 8 years by His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang. I think we should, you know, accept that with open arms, especially if he will be able to deliver the goods. Somebody was saying here yesterday or the day before that he ordinarily would not even want Barrister Mutfwang to go anywhere, because already we are seeing dividends and things like that. You know, and I think we could say here that you know, I think the man has hit the ground running, because we could see a few things being done here and there. You know,
repairs, you know, road repairs.
Yes, I think we must give it to him as far as that is concerned. You know, this is the issue. But again, if it is also our destiny, you know, to be governed by probably, you know, another fine gentleman, brilliant academic and visionary leader, you know, in the form of Professor Nentawe Yulwada. If that is our destiny, and then something eventually happens, let it be. We let it be. We accept that with open arms. At the end of the day,
like in the word of Malik yesterday, our guest yesterday, he said, "Plateau first." Plateau first. After all, whoever imagines is now declared after the judgment being the winner.
I mean, Colby, you're very right. Professor Yulwada is not from Zamfara State. He's not from Lagos State. He's a Plateau indigent, right? Son of, you know, prominent, reputable clerics and all of that. Likewise, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang from Mangu, you know, a fine gentleman, a brilliant lawyer, and things like that. They're our sons, they're our leaders, and all of that.
Before we even go further on this, I want to just call attention to the fact that yesterday we had Murik, you know, calling attentions of the federal government to look into political appointments so that there will be some sort of balance.
Yes.
And today we are having another body, J and I, also appealing. That is to say, religion has a lot to do in shaping the direction with which we go in this nation.
Definitely.
So, and I love it today that J and I is being proactive. Not until there is an uproar, there is a civil unrest before we call. No, they are being proactive, calling ahead of what they perceive will not be well for us as a people. And so calling attention, let's be calm.
Let's be calm.
Not until it is up there before we start saying calm down.
Definitely. And
so
I think it's not just probably the newspaper didn't include this particular part, but I think CAN, the Christian Association of Nigeria, also made a similar call.
So
and you can find that on other newspapers and things like that. And so I think, like you said, that is ordinarily what religion should do. It's not supposed to divide; it should unite. Because at the end of the day, neither Islam nor Christianity actually teaches or preaches division or violence, intolerance and things like that. Both of them actually should provide a sort of a moral compass, sort of a moral direction, for their, millions of adherents, and things like that. This is the issue. So the judgment hasn't been delivered yet, and nobody knows when precisely it's going to be delivered. But at the end of the day, it could be like we've always said, Plateau State cannot have two captains. We can't have two captains. We can only have a governor at a time. Right? We can only have one occupant of Little Rayfield. We can only have one, a chief executive of Plateau State. We can only have one governor of Plateau State. We can only have one chief security officer of Plateau State. It is either His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang or it depends on what the judgment eventually throws our way, and it also depends on what plans God has for Plateau State. But I want to believe that both of them are fine gentlemen. So at the end of the day, yes, I think we should not attempt to bring down the roof. And I'm not happy with some of the imputations we are seeing, some of the exchanges we're seeing between followers or adherents or loyalists of the two political parties. We're not comfortable with some of the press releases we are seeing. Some of them are inciting, some of them are instigating, could be, some of them are provocative and could actually put us on a collision course with each other if something is not actually done. People have always said this, and it's true. The state the peace we're still enjoying can still be described as negative or fragile. It's nothing to write home about. We're just trying to afford. It's delicate. We're trying to, as much as possible, to sort of manage it. Be able to sustain it for a while. Period
of time that it will now be matured.
Beautiful, because people are gradually regaining trust. People are gradually regaining confidence in each other. We can actually say confidently that gone are those days where Shuaib Doro, a Muslim, will be afraid of going to Rukobaro to see his colleague and good friend and brother could be and things. Gone are those days, and so we want to continue on that trajectory. You understand? People would normally ask if Plateau could actually revert to those sweet old days where the settlement pattern was sort of heterogeneous and thing. And I said, why not? I think we are on our way, aren't we? We're on our way. So we and I love the speech that His Excellency delivered. I think the day before yesterday. He did draw attention to the need for people to be calm, to let the law take its course. He did say specifically, and I'm quoting him verbatim, that the conflict or dispute resolution mechanisms should be allowed to be exhausted, to be pursued to their logical conclusions. Something like that. And so there is a law, and I think what law does is to provide some sort of direction, some sort of a compass, for a people, right? So we've got a law that actually can take care of some of these things. And so at the end of the day, whichever way the judgment goes, if anybody feels they're not comfortable with the outcome, there are legal options that can still be explored to, pursue whatever, whatever it is. And so I hope that the Plateau citizens will hit that.
Yes, I really look forward to that too. Doro, let's look at this one. It's still on politics, but this time around, not about a tribunal. This one has to do with the 10th Assembly. It says, the Vanguard, it says, Akpabio's impeachment, the plot takings as ex-governors join fray.
Wow.
Okay, there has been rumors, but I read of Akpabio recently too. He is saying, and all of this rumor has no base. And this story keeps coming forth and to and fro, and so I don't know what to make. What do you make of this?
Well, what I make of it is the fact that the ruling class doesn't seem serious about actually, taking this, country to the promised land, providing the needed, necessary leadership for this country, and things like that. And that is with no prejudice, to those of them who are doing fine, and all of that. I've always said this could be, Nigeria has got some political figures, some leaders who are doing fine, who are genuinely interested, in the well-being of this country, and all of that. If you look at their antecedents, if you look at what they've been able to do when they had opportunities and things like that, you must give it to them, But at the same time, when politicians do certain things, you begin to wonder if this country is really, I mean, you begin to ask where we're really headed, and things like that. Now, ordinarily, it should be time for governance and not politics anymore. But as we speak, could be surprisingly or unsurprisingly, but of course, unfortunately, there are politicians who are already eyeing 2027. Because this particular issue having to do with Akpabio and the impeachment rumor and all of that, according to reports, has something to do, with the permutations for 2027. There are reports that indicate that, certain political heavyweights or juggernauts or gladiators, if you want it that way, are plotting to or planning to, form a hybrid political party, a party that they believe, will be capable of neutralizing or challenging, the hegemony of the PDP and the APC, and things like that. And don't forget that the APC itself is a product of a coalition. Yeah. The ACN, the CPC, NNPP, and some other minor political parties that eventually collapsed to give birth to, the APC, and things like that. And so it is like certain political gladiators now are looking for ways to do something different. Yes, maybe
to withdraw and then have.
Yeah, that is exactly the point. Maybe to create another political party that is going to sort of be like the APC, and things like that. But we say yes, it is within their democratic or human rights to do that. Nigeria, I mean, the constitution allows that. You want to form a political party, fulfill the legal requirements, and then you're good to go. But at the same time, it must not be at the expense of governance, right? It must not be at the expense of, and that's why we keep saying here and anywhere we have an opportunity to speak that. Partisan considerations must not be allowed to interfere, with the wishes and yearnings and aspirations of the Nigerian people. This is the issue. When politics is over, governance is supposed to be on full steam, as, Vice President Kashim Shettima would say. This is the issue. But it is too early in the day to begin to talk about 2027, isn't it? Could be. It's too early in the day. How old is this administration of President Tinubu? How old is it? Not more than 2-3 months, and we are talking about 2027. Isn't that unpatriotic? Wow. Isn't that insensitive? Isn't that careless, Colby? I think it's careless. Now, there are lots and lots of issues that have to do with even, Godswill Akpabio as a person. And I think, in addition to the permutation for 2027, I think, what he's going through now, his current travels might have something, to do with even his antecedents as a person. This is the issue. Of course, when Godswill Akpabio was being contemplated by the APC, specifically by extension, President Tinubu as, President of the Senate, there were civil society groups, women groups, and all of that sort of had reservations about the whole proposition. Okay. About the prospect of Akpabio being Senate President and things like that. For example, there's an audit report in 2015 and 2011 that actually accused Godswill Akpabio of diverting 1 trillion naira of state fund. Of course, probably or obviously when he held sway as governor of Akwai State for 8 years. It's an allegation, like I said. We are not saying that he actually is or is not guilty of that. And I'm aware that the EFCC actually extended invitations to him severally on account of same, and all of that. Again, there are reports that indicate that Godswill Akpabio was actually being investigated for allegedly diverting 200 billion of NNDC funds, and things like that. And so those non-government, those civil society groups that were interrogating the attempt to actually appoint or to make Akpabio Senate president, actually attributed their decisions or their stance on that particular situation, to these, these stories, these myriads of allegations, and things like that. This is the issue, and I know that at a certain point in time, Akpabio was actually being investigated by the EFCC, but when he eventually, cross-carpeted, when he jumped ship, when he actually, crossed over from the PDP to the APC, the whole issue, went under the radar, and nothing has been heard about it since then. This is the issue, and so we kind of feel that the political culture in this country is one that actually seems to even promote corruption, corrupt tendencies, and things like that. This is the issue. Now, of course, Ishaku Abo, the senator representing Adamawa North, is it Adamawa North or South, actually came out, I think yesterday or the day before, to say that the rumors about Akpabio's impeachment are not true. In fact, Akpabio himself is orchestrating this whole drama in order to deceive Nigerians and set President Tinubu on a collision course with northern politicians and things like that. So he feels that probably Godswill Akpabio is being melodramatic as far as the whole issue is concerned. But I think at the end of the day could be whatever the issue is, whether the rumor is true or not, actually remains to be seen, because Akpabio through his spokesperson has come out to counter the whole issue and things like that. But I think again that like they say, there is no smoke without fire, and there is an element of truth in every rumor, and so something might just be happening. Don't forget that at some point in time in the past, when the National Assembly was going on recess, His Excellency Senate President Godswill Akpabio actually did say that he had sent, or the Senate leadership had sent prayers to their the email accounts of senators, for them to be able to enjoy the holiday, and things like that. And Nigerians actually felt, why would you be talking about, actually what he did say initially was that some stipends had been sent into their account, to enjoy the recess and things like that. And then when there was an uproar and things like that, he decided to withdraw the statement and correct it. And so
and the drama was that well, it's not as if the distinguished senators were against the fact that some certain amount of money was sent into yes, but that why would he have made such a statement on mic?
Yes, why would he make it so public? Yes, and you could see so Nigerians were angry. Nigerians went to town over the issue. Nigerians were like, at this point in time, when we are actually contending with economic challenges, policy of removal of subsidy and other economic decisions and things like, why would you be doing that? So it's like certain power brokers, certain gladiators now, certain political actors are sort of latching onto that verbal slip of the Senate president to make certain pursue certain interests and things like that. It remains to be seen.
Well, that remains to be seen. But of course, it seems something is shady somewhere.
Something is going on.
But of course, we'll make our best to get into to know the proceedings, the workings of the Senate. And why don't we just conclude on this? We have 4 minutes to go on this segment. And this one is coming from The Nation. It says, Nigeria welcomes a partnership Tinubu at United Nations General Assembly.
Wow, that's a good one, isn't it?
Yes, we're looking forward to have investors coming in to invest. But of course, do we have the enabling environment?
That's the question. The president was speaking yesterday on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, which he actually attended at the headquarters of the United Nations in New York. This is the issue, and as we might all be aware, the UN General Assembly takes place on annual basis, where presidents of the 193 countries that constitute the institution, the United Nations, actually meet to discuss issues of governance, issues of politics, issues of economic development, issues of climate change across countries of the world, especially members of the United Nations and things like that. And so the president was there, to represent Nigeria, and in fact Africa. He actually delivered a speech, a very interesting speech on behalf of Nigeria and of course the whole of Africa, apparently in his capacity as chairman of the ECOWAS, and all of that. This is the issue. The theme for this year's United Nations General Assembly was rebuilding trust and reigniting global solidarity. This is the theme. Kulbi, I've always said this. Some of these world leaders, do have a way of actually, manipulating the psyche of peoples of the world. When they meet, on occasions of this nature, they come up with very catchy, very interesting, themes, slogans, and all of that, and then momentarily you get the some hope that
yes, it gives you that feeling that they're aware. The people who can make it right are aware of my situation back here, and so you begin to feel, oh, something is going to be done very soon,
to address our concerns and things like that. But after a while, everything just goes under the radar, and you don't hear anything anymore. I've always said this: if only the United Nations and some of these regional, global bodies were actually going to, adhere to. I mean, if only they were going to be sincere, in pursuing certain, agenda.
By now,
the world would actually be a better place. I wish we had little more time to say more on this.
Yes, but time is not always on our side. And so at this point, our listener and of course our viewer, thank you for being there. At this point, we'll just go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your Unity TV?
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your Mr. Party.
Thank you so much for still being there, staying tuned to Unity 93.3 FM. And of course, Unity TV. Beatrice Adamweji is my name. And I've been in the studio this morning with Mr. Shaibu Duru, an in-house analyst and of course political scientist. Together, we've been doing this. It doesn't matter what I feel against you. It doesn't matter what you feel against me. One thing is possible. And what is that? Peaceful coexistence. And so, let's do our best to live in peace with one another. Shaibu Duru?
Yes.
Another good morning.
Yeah, well, as usual. Yeah, good morning, viewer and listener. Thank you for being there. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. At this point, make attempts to live in peace. And I bet you will not regret you did, because I am a witness. Let's live in peace. And thank you so much. Before we go to our topic of discussion, I would love to maybe we draw conclusions on the leftover for the last segment of Unity Trend newspaper review. And so let's go through it, Mr. Shabodoro. Yes, still talking about wonderful team, wonderful slogans, wonderful phrases. When you hear what leaders, bringing it up on the table for discussion, it gives you the feelings that these people, my leaders, are aware of what I'm going through. Definitely. And with this topic on the discussion, it means something is going to be done urgently to rescue situations, and then it continues again. If only
that could actually be done. Like we were trying to say, if only what leaders will be sincere in pursuing some of the agenda they put on the table during meetings like this. I think the world by now would actually, or should actually, be a better place for us all. But the problem is the hypocrisy, the politics, the dirty game, the power play, the supremacy battle that actually characterizes the entire global political architecture. And this is the problem. There are countries that will always want to have their way at the expense of others, and if you look at the United Nations itself, I've always said that it's lopsided. The entire composition of the United Nations as a supranational institution that is supposed to bring countries together is lopsided. I mean, how many African countries are members of the, let's say, the security, permanent members of the Security Council? We don't even have any. We don't have one African country, as a member as a permanent member of the Security Council. It's the exclusive reserve of the Big Five. So when you're talking about, rebuilding trust, reigniting, global solidarity and all of that, how possible is it to achieve that when you have an economic system, a world economic system that is actually, actually lopsided, that is actually tilted in a way that actually doesn't give a fair advantage to, developing countries and things like that? How can we achieve that when you have a political architecture that actually, gives preferential treatment, unfair advantages to some, and then confines some other countries to subordinate and things like that? I think we can't have such trust or such confidence building that we're talking about if we continue on this trajectory. This is the issue, and I'm glad yesterday, amongst other things, President Tinubu was bold enough to actually call on developed capitalist countries of the world to stop looting Africa's resources. I'm glad he was bold enough to actually do that. I add off my heart for him for being able to do that. And I think the president was not off. The president was not off key to have actually done that, because it's something we have actually seen. Why do you think protests and coups are now happening in francophone African countries? Part of the reasons is the age-long exploitation of the economic resources of some of these countries by their erstwhile colonial master, specifically France. This is the issue. So I think, to round up on this, we want to see a global economic architecture or system that actually treats all countries as co-equals. After all, international relations, among countries actually should be predicated on the principle of the sovereign equality of all nations. No nation, like Bob Marley would always say, until the philosophy that actually treats one nation, that actually makes one nation superior and another inferior is permanently actually abolished, the world will actually not know peace. This is the issue. So at the end of the day, I think this is what we actually want to see, right? Let nations be given, a fair playing ground to be able to, try their potentials, display their capacities, utilize their resources in a way that translates into tangible results for the millions of people that are looking up to them. If we are able to do that, then we probably will have put the world on the path of growth and development. If that if that is not done, we will continue to struggle with this issue of trust deficit, and all of that.
All right. Thank you very much, Doro, for concluding on this. It's a leftover, actually. And
definitely.
You seem to be having the issue that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu of this great nation, Nigeria, you made mention that he was so bold, to even mention that nations should consider the fact that they have been here and there, looting the natural resources of some other developing countries.
Definitely.
Well, it means also that they are aware.
Definitely.
And everybody is aware.
They know the problem.
So we just have to now see what happens after now. It has been said.
Definitely.
Yes. And so on this point, our listener and our viewer, religion and ethnicity is a powerful tool in the hands of individual or group of individuals. It all depends on what you use it for national development or even to destroy it. And that's what we'll be discussing this morning. We have it as a topic to say religion and ethnicity, Nigerian politics on Focus. And Mr. Shabodoro is still in the studio. And let me tell you something, he's going to be my guest on this. And so it's going to be very wonderful. Mr. Doro?
Yes.
It all depends on what you choose to use religion for.
Definitely.
And ethnicity.
Definitely.
For us in this part of the world, there has never been anything happening that you would not see the elements of religion, ethnicity on display.
Definitely.
For instance, we just have reports about President Bola Tinubu, a religious body calling him to give attention to balance all kinds of appointments and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And again, you can have religion too, a lot about religion and then ethnicity. How are we going to do this in a country as ours, Nigeria?
Well, that's a $1 billion question, could be, isn't it? I think it's a $1 billion question because,
right.
You will elicit a lot of, discussion, and things like that. And I think the discussion about, religion, ethnicity, and how they have affected, the political culture in Nigeria, the country's progress, and things like that is something that has been on, for quite a while. Apparently, because of the country's peculiar history, this is an issue. Historians would always say that Nigeria is the product of a British experiment in political cloning. In other words, the country came about as a result of, British colonialism, and the imperialist, tendency, of some Western countries and, and things like that. And as a result of that, Nigeria came to be. In other words, as some people would always describe it, it's an artificial entity. Artificial in the sense that, in the beginning, there was never anything called Nigeria. It came to be as a result of, colonialism and all of that. And as a result of that particular, factor, of course, we came to have, a situation where, traditional boundaries were actually drawn with no recourse to traditional alignments and things like that. And I think that is what gave birth to Nigeria as well as many African countries. That's why they will normally be described as artificial entities and things like that. And I think that if you're talking about the issue of religion and ethnicity and all of that, you cannot separate it from the country's colonial history. And all of that. More so, when the country was formed by the colonial masters, don't forget that The name Nigeria was given by Flora Shaw, wife to then Nigeria's, I think, Governor General, Lord Lugard, who actually amalgamated the country, the Northern Southern Protectorate in 1914, to create,
that makes me wonder a lot, that we have been here all this while, our forefathers have been here for all this while, only to have someone come in within a short period of time, and then particularly the saying that the discover of River Niger. Our forefathers right in here, but someone came and discovered River Niger. How is that possible?
Well, it actually did happen. The Western country, has always been technologically more advanced, and things like that. And the discovery, of course, was facilitated by, I think, their technological preponderance over, African nations and things like that. Don't forget that even the adventure into, their advent into Africa and all of that was actually made possible by, their technological advancement. If they didn't have, ships to be able to, sail, thousands of kilometers, across the sea and all of that, it wouldn't have actually been possible.
Mr. Doro, my concern is that, okay, we have our forefathers. Some of them were hunters, some of them were warriors, and then we have fishermen, and they were doing that on that river. So what was the name they used to call that river then? So, anyway, it's a discussion for another day.
It's a lot of history which we can't go into.
All right, let's just go back to
things like
what
that.
we're doing.
Well, I was trying to give a background to, some of these, cankerworms. I was trying to just tell some sort of story, so that we are able to put the whole issue, in perspective. And so when the country was created in 1914, through the amalgamation of the two protectorates, Northern and Southern protectorates, no deliberate effort was made by the colonial government then to actually give the two regions, a common political orientation. This is the issue. And so the North was the North, right? And the South was the South. And so citizens of Northerners actually saw, the North as the whole of Nigeria. In other words, their perspective of Nigeria actually started and ended with the North. The Southerners too actually thought that Nigeria started and ended with the South, and it's like that's a mindset that we seem to have maintained over the years, and all of that. And so I think if you're talking about the persistence of religious bigotry, ethnic bigotry, and all of that, I think you cannot separate it from this particular, historical antecedent, and the historical and the colonial anomaly that actually, drew geographical boundaries, regardless of traditional alignment, and all of that. This is the issue. But like it has always been said, every country has a peculiar history, and Nigeria is not the only country that was colonized. But what I had thought was that deliberate effort were going to be made by our forefathers, who took over the reins, of affairs in the country to actually, reverse that particular history and be able to unite the country, and all of that. But unfortunately, what we had was, a continuation of that sort of a divisive, politicking and all of that. Don't forget that the three political parties that emerged after independence, the, Northern People's Congress, the Action Congress, the NCNC, were all regionally based political parties, and what they actually did was simply to, actually aggravate the division that had been inherited. And that was why even some of the measures that were taken to actually unite the country, was it the establishment of the NYSC, the creation of unity schools, the establishment of unity schools, the introduction of the Land Use Act, creation of states and all of that. Some of these measures, as beautiful as they were, actually fell short of their expectation of actually bringing together, peoples of, from different parts of the country and things like that. And I think that situation has continued until date. That is why the issue of religious bigotry, seems to have actually persisted, and things like that. But at the end of the day, could be, I think that we cannot forget history, but we can let history be history. In other words, we can't forget where we're coming from. Yeah, we were colonized, as a result of which we have come to be what we are. But again, I think it behoves on us, as a people, to see what we can do to sort of, to sort of reverse the ugly history that we have actually inherited. You know, this is the issue. You did say something interesting in your introductory remarks that you know, we can't do away with religion. We can't wish it away because it's part of us.
Yes.
It's an issue of culture, right? And every set of people actually have a religion, right? Whether it's Islam or Christianity or Judaism or Hinduism or Confucianism or whatever nomenclature you want to give it, every people actually have a religion, right? But at the end of the day, again, I think that religion is not actually supposed to divide. It's supposed to unite. And I think all of these religions, even if they are traditional, actually have certain things in common, right? I don't think there is any religion that actually, for example, you know, preaches aggression. There is none. There is no religion that teaches violence. There is no religion that teaches division. If only Muslims were going to be Muslim, and then Christians, Christian, and then traditionalists being traditional. In other words, if only we were going to adhere genuinely and sincerely to the precepts, to the teachings, you know, or the moral values of these religions that we profess verbally, I think the world will actually be a better place for all of us. But the problem, when we're discussing Godwin Emefiele and his current, you know, travels and all of that, and the fact that he's always seen carrying a Bible under his arm when going to the court and things like, we did say that, look, for me, that is simply a manipulation of religion. And I think it is the manipulation of religion that has actually brought us to this, you know, that has actually, you know, put us in this sorry state of affairs.
Not the religion, but the manipulation.
It's manipulation. Religion itself as a way of life or as an aspect of a people's culture cannot be a problem. It can't be a problem. This is the issue. I always tell this story. You know, when the persecution of Muslims in Mecca, you know, became unbearable, what Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, decided to do was to send his followers to a place called Abyssinia, present day Ethiopia. And Abyssinia then was under the rulership of a certain Christian king. This is the issue. Now, don't forget that the Muslims were being persecuted in Mecca, right? And when the persecution was unbearable, Prophet Muhammad said, okay, I think we should migrate to a certain place where we can be safe.
But where?
But where? And of all the places in the world, what came to his mind was Abyssinia, what they call Habasha, you know, which was under the rulership of a Christian king. Now, Prophet Muhammad was a Muslim, you know, the leader of a Muslim society and all of that, who was under persecution by the pagans in Mecca. But he was not skeptical when he talked of, you know, sending his followers to a Christian king. And he assured them that when they went there, they were going to be safe. Now, when the Muslims went to Abyssinia, you know, the Christian king actually welcomed them with open arms. And when they told him that they were actually Muslim migrants, victims of persecution in Mecca, you know, and the fact that they were Muslims, the king was like, well, if you are Muslims coming from, you know, Mecca, it then actually means that we are brothers, because I'm a Christian.
It means your home.
So Abyssinia is your home, and so you can stay here for as long as you want, until it's safe for you to go back to Mecca. If you want to stay here for the rest of your life, I'm fine with that. This is the issue. And so the king, the Christian king, made sure that all diplomatic efforts to extradite, you know, the Muslims to Mecca, for them to continue to be persecuted by the Meccans, actually did not work. He, you know, offered them asylum, offered them protection until it was safe for them to go back to Mecca, and the rest was actually history. That is the sort of world that we want to see today,
The religion, we want to see religion being played in such a direction to ensure national development.
Beautiful. Religion being used as a uniting force, not a dividing force. Religion being used to actually promote the national project and not to demote the national project. Religion being used to enlighten, you know, followers and not to actually set them on a collision course.
Okay.
This is the issue, Kobe.
Let's look at it. Just taking politics in Nigeria today, do you see it? What do you think it's happening? Is it like religion has been used in such a way that we unite Nigerians?
I could say could be, and that's a brilliant question. I think religion has been politicized, and I think it is the politicization of religion that is the problem. When we were discussing God in Emefiele, I did say something. Before then, he was never seen carrying a Bible. So whom are you deceiving? Whom are you deceiving?
Except probably we didn't stump into any of his videos there.
Yeah, but I had never seen one. I had never seen one so before then. I'd never seen one. So for me, it's an attempt to probably corrupt religion or religionize corruption. That is what I think is going on. And the same thing is going on, could be. Religion has been politicized, and then politics also has been religionized. So what are we saying? We are saying that there is a politicization of religion and religionization or religionization of politics. That is what is happening. And that is unfair. Although, we cannot separate politics from religion, because there is politics in religion itself. Of course, Prophet Muhammad was the leader of an Islamic state. He offered political leadership, right? And then he actually had sahabas, companions, who were what we could say today his cabinet or his ministers, who carried out strategic responsibilities on his behalf, the likes of the Usman bin Affan, the likes of Abu Bakr, the likes of Omar, the likes of they were there, about 4 of them, and they were his cabinet members. They discharged responsibilities on his behalf. Did Jesus not have 12 disciples? Jesus did have disciples, right?
Yes.
12 of them. What were they doing for Jesus? I think we could say that they were also his cabinet members.
Yes, they were learning
right?
from his
we could say they were his cabinet members, right? So this is the story, it could be. And so we can't say that religion has no business with politics. In fact, some people say that the fact that Eve was able to ask or persuade Adam in the garden of Eve to actually eat from the forbidden tree was itself politics or political, because it took some sort of persuasion on the part of Eve to be able to persuade or convince Adam to eat from the forbidden tree and all of that. That's a story for another day. But I think while we cannot separate politics from religion, I think we must actually watch the boundaries.
Yes.
We must watch the boundaries.
So now let's have the boundaries.
Yes, the boundary is this, or the boundaries are this. Number one, people should be told the truth. You understand? Religion should stop being manipulated and deployed, in pursuit of narcissistic or vested, interest and things like that. That is what I meant when I talked about the politicization of religion and the religionization of politics. It shouldn't be. Nobody is actually saying that religious leaders should have no role to play in politics. Of course, Jay and I and Khan have actually called on citizens to stay calm as we await tribunal judgment and things like that. Religion is coming to play, isn't it? Yeah. Religion is coming to play. This is the issue. But I think there should be a limit to how far we go in terms of using religion in some of these ventures. You understand? This is the issue. You can't go about telling Muslims that they can only be happy, or they can only be protected, or they can only be better off when they have a fellow Muslim at the helm of affairs. It is not true. It is not a true story to tell. And that's what has actually put us in this sorry state of affairs. This is the issue. Now, I have seen situations where Christian leaders, like I did cite an example earlier, the Christian king, who actually provided asylum to the Muslims, right, who were being persecuted in Mecca, actually did his best to make sure that he gave them good leadership. You understand? So we could actually say that his constituency comprised of Muslims, because he actually had Muslims under his care.
Yes.
As a result of the migration from Mecca and things like that. This is the issue. And so that's what we want to see today. You can have a Muslim governor, right, actually presiding over the affairs of a Christian population. You can also have a Christian governor presiding over the affairs of a Muslim population. It is possible for us to have that, isn't it? I think that, okay, I always give these examples. were the Muslims in northern Nigeria or in Nigeria as a whole better off under President Muhammadu Buhari, who is a fellow Muslim and a northerner? They were not better off. They were worse off. You know, because the northern part of the country actually was hit, right, by its insurgency, you know, poverty, illiteracy, and all of that. And President Muhammadu Buhari was not able to address these problems, even though he is a Muslim. It doesn't matter. This is the issue. When Goodluck Jonathan was president, he was able to build 9 universities in northern Nigeria. And then it was Jonathan who actually came up with the initiative of the Almajiri, you know, education, right? He was able to, you know, build, I think, 83 Almajiri, you know, educational centers across the northern part of the country and things like that. The Almajiri phenomena is strictly a northern Muslim cultural affair, isn't it?
Yes.
It has nothing to do with Nigerian Christians, because we don't hear about the Almajiri issue as far as Nigerian Christians are concerned. It is strictly a Muslim, you know, religious affair. But Jonathan was not a Muslim, but he felt, look, you know, these are
Nigerians.
These millions of young Muslim youth who roam the streets of this country, you know, begging for alms and food and all of that, is not supposed to continue. Something should be done about it, because they are Nigerian children, not Christian or Muslim children. This is the issue. You know, and it was the same Muslim President Muhammadu Buhari who failed to sustain the Almajiri educational policy and things like that. I'm not there's no prejudice against President Buhari. He has his own good side of the story and things. But I'm just trying to sort of do some juxtaposing. I'm just trying to say that a Muslim can make a good or bad leader. A Christian can make a good or bad leader. It's possible to have that, isn't it? It's possible. And we can give examples of situations where some Muslims failed to deliver the goods, or where some Christians failed to deliver the goods. Are there not Christians who are guilty of, you know, looting billions of funds? There are. Are there not Christians, Christians who are also guilty of looting billions of funds? There are. So it doesn't matter. I think it is not religion, or it is not the religious or ethnic identity of the individual that does the job. It is the brain, right? It is the mental process. It is the philosophy, the character, right, of the individual that actually does the job. Now look at America and China. Are they religious societies? They are not, right? Donald Trump, is Donald Trump a Christian? At some point he tried to be Christian but is he even a Christian? You know, George Bush was not even a Christian. He's a free thinker. Look at China. It's a strictly, it's a Hindu society and things like that. So I think we should come off this.
Thank you very much. Our listener and our viewer, at this point, we'll just go on a short break. When we come back, it's going to be your segment to throw in your comments. Stay tuned and thank you.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your Unity TV? Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been
so much. I'm so happy to be in the studios of Unity 93.3 FM and of course TV. Beatrice Adamuyishi remains my name, but you can call me Kubi. I'll still be fine. There is just one thing that I will never dash it out. And what is that? Peaceful core existence. And so I tell you, it doesn't matter how you feel against me or what I feel against you. One thing is certain. We can still coexist. And so let's give peace a chance, and we will never regret we did. And so we're reaching you live from the hills of ZINARIYA here in Jos City, Plateau State, Nigeria. And of course in the studio I have my brother an in-house analyst and the political scientist, Mr. Shaibu Doro, is in the studio. And but this segment is actually yours, even as you have been following us in the studio. And so it will be time for you to call our studio line, and then we hear from you, even as we're discussing the issues of religion and ethnicity, in politics in Nigeria. So let's hear your views. But remember also, when you call us, there is no need to mention names and then be there to jeopardize the relative peace being enjoyed on the plateau and by extension in Nigeria. Okay, so stick to the rules of this house, which of course is to promote peaceful coexistence. And so if you want to be a part of it by calling our studio line, it's 070-3235-3315. Tell us where you're calling from, and in a minute, make your opinions, of course. Yes, the studio line, it's on at the moment, so you can call us. If you want to be live with us on our Facebook page, you just go Unity Radio FM/TV JOS, and you'll be live with us. We want to beg, if you are sending in as an SMS, you do that very quickly, so before we get out of here, we would have read your text messages, and you do that via 0808-478-9 in 4 places. 0808-478-9 in 4 places. That is the number for SMS. Thank you. Okay, Doro?
Yes.
Before we come back on air, we were actually talking about having to do with our forefathers, being fishermen. Okay, fishing in the same river.
Yes.
A lady came all the way to discover.
To say she had discovered River
So
Niger.
I want to ask her, what was the name our forefathers were calling those rivers? Some of the rivers we have around discovered by other people outside Nigeria. Do you understand? There certainly must have been a name.
Well, could be. I think it is the word discover or discovery is being misapplied, in this particular context. Because like we were saying off air, how can you discover a place where somebody was already living?
Yeah.
Let's say I've been here for the past 1 week, and then you come and say I've discovered this place. When you actually found the person who is there is the discoverer of the place. That's why some historians will say, Christopher Columbus, who claimed to have discovered America, did not actually discover America. Because before Christopher Columbus actually went there, there had been Red Indians who had lived there for ages. So how can you discover a place? So like you rightly said, our forefathers were fishing on River Niger and all of that, and then a certain lady came from, somewhere to say she had discovered. It's a hypocrisy. That's history. We could go into that, but unfortunately there's no time. And I think this is how history has been manipulated, to actually sort of subjugate, Africans and make them feel that they don't even know anything, and all of that.
If it's about name, we have names.
We do. If you look at the societies, the societies that constituted, the geographical entity called Nigeria. There were names to which, these places were actually. There were names by which some of these places, were actually called. This is, and that was why even after independence, you see some nationalists actually attempted to, reverse, this cultural, heritage. To reverse this, this cultural, this historical anomaly. Yeah. You understand, so that people will not begin to feel, and I think this inferiority complex has been sustained till date. You understand, this is the issue. For example, even as we speak, there are African countries that still bear English names. You understand,
yes.
And all of that. And I'm wondering, why did our forefathers not even do anything, to actually maybe give Nigeria a different name, maybe some African or a Nigerian name or something of that nature. This is the issue. Of course, when the British actually named or nicknamed Congo, when they called it Brazzaville, is it Congo Brazzaville or what? There was a name that they called Congo before them, but of course, some of their nationalists actually came to say, no, we can't continue to refer to our country by an English name. We can call it something different, and that was when we began to have names like Tanganyika, and things like that. And not just that, there were in fact Africans who were colonized actually were given English names by colonial masters and things like that. Some of them attempted to change those names from those English names to their native cultural names and things like that. But until today, I think there's a bit of colonial hangover.
Doro,
and we need to get over that.
Let's listen to our first caller this morning. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, thank you very much. Who's on the line?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Farah from TT.
Okay, Sadiq Umar from TT and T Junction.
Yeah, actually, I commend you people who are bringing a very, very important topic, seeing the issue of religion and identity that is related to our politics. You see, when we look at politicians, actually, they normally used to join the head of the masses, because every time they come to their campaign, we see all what they will be using. They will not bring any credible idea that will help the people. But they will bring sentiment and other things. But the problem is from the people. If we, the people, will wise up and know that the politics is different from culture, politics is different from religion, politics is different from the way we are doing things in our community. But it's about leadership. It's about goal, who is going to bring us, or who is going to achieve a certain thing in the government. That's politics all about. So that's to say that we the people have to rise up, and our regional leaders have to go away with politics, because this issue of politics used to devalue their value. So that's to say that we the masses have to be educated, and the government also have to educate people more about the importance of politics and how are they going to be functioning very as a good citizen in terms of politics. If not, we are getting the wrong. Anytime a politician comes, you will not come to the people. You will just go to the religious leaders. And if the religious leaders say we should vote this, and everybody will go and vote that, and we'll be in the same problem that we are. So we have to rise up and think twice and know how we are going to be doing politics in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sadiq Umar, calling us from the city of Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, TT and T Junction. He's our first caller today. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you very much. You're on to Unity 93.3 FM. Thank you. So, what have you for us?
My name is Tabita.
Okay, Tabita.
Hello?
Yes, Tabita, right? Hello?
My name is Rhoda.
Okay, Rhoda, you have a minute, please. Where are you calling us from? It's okay. You have a minute, please, Rhoda. You have a minute to make your contribution.
Lisa, I need to help you. I love feeding from community. I know this. Yesterday, my children know it anything.
Okay.
Please, I not going to buy drugs.
Okay. Okay, you need assistance? Is that what you're saying? You need assistance?
I know this.
She says she can't see. I think that's what she's saying.
Okay, you can see? Okay. Okay. Thank you. We'll call you after now. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll call you after the show. And thank you, Madam Rhoda there calling, and just she needs some assistance. She says she cannot see. She's a widow. We get to get some more about her. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kurbi.
Oh, thank you very much. Who's on the line?
And the girls in the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, continue to bless you people. This is Adewumi coming from
Amen, Adewumi. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you very much. You see, Mr. Kurbi, I'm sorry to say this. It's not that because I'm a Yoruba. I want to say this. I want to say, let every Nigerian emulate the character of Yoruba.
Okay.
Yoruba will never separate or disintegrate. Or once you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you live together as one. You see, if you have that oneness in us, then we are through with every other challenges in this thing. So you see, religion is not the guarantee to eternity. It's the good work and being your brother's keeper. You see, the greatest commandment that they give us is that you should love your God with the whole of your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Once you are able to do this, I think you are through with everything in life. Because if you love your neighbor the way you love yourself, you never harm any of yourself. You never do any harm to any person. So please, it's high time we always love ourselves. Please, me, I'm just using this medium to just teach love. Let's just treat each other, whether a Christian, a Muslim, whoever, if God has a reason for creating us together.
Thank you.
We cannot teach God on how to pray. So in as much as God has made you a Christian, a Muslim, let's unite ourselves as one. We are one big family in this world. Thank you, and God bless you people.
Amen. Thank you so much. Deumi is citing an example there with the Yoruba community. You know, our religion hasn't been there to separate them as compared to other. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, if you call us, please, try to stay away from your radio set. Don't try to listen to yourself even as you call us. So please, if you want to do that, you call us on 070-3235-3315. That's the line to be with us in the studio live. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, it's good to have you. Who's on the line?
DK is my name.
All right, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tafe Junction.
All right, you have a minute, please.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, you have a minute, please.
Okay, please. It's just a question, and I want to recommend if you people have changed this station to a national radio.
Thank you very much.
People said, a lot of people are saying that this radio is no more what it used to be.
Thank you very much.
Two gentlemen here, they mentioned Kobe and Doro.
Yes, thank you.
That they have changed the pattern of information in this radio. That is no more one-sided.
Thank you very much.
Honestly, friends tell me that there was a program yesterday, this very particular program.
Yes.
Is there any way I can get it? Because it's raining in the town now.
Okay.
How can I get that they say a professor, you people invited a professor.
Okay, yes, you can get it. Just call me on 0808-478-9 in 4 places after the show. You can get it.
I'm not having a diary here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me.
Can you just call his own number?
Okay. Call your own number.
Call your own number.
My own number. Okay. Let me call my own number.
Yeah, right. Please do.
080.
Yes.
361.
Yes.
407.
Okay.
62.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much.
I repeat again.
All right.
080.
Yes.
361.
Yes.
407. 62.
Thank you very much.
The name
stay
is
tuned.
what? Okay.
Do stay tuned.
Okay.
Just stay tuned. We'll get you on after the show. And thank you so much. That's how we do on Unity 93.3 FM. You can be a part of it. Hello, good morning.
080. Yes.
Okay, I think we're just having, the wave just coming back and forth. If you want to be a part of it, 070-3235-3315 to join us live. And our Facebook page is also there for you. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Am I connected to the...
Yes, you're on to Unity 93.3 FM, live.
Hello?
Yes, you are live on Unity 93.3 FM.
Okay, thank you very much. Please.
Thank you. What's your take and what's your name?
I don't know you.
Oh, please, if you call us, just tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and then you go straight ahead to make your contributions. If it's a question, yes, we'll be glad to have it. If we don't give it to you as an answer this morning, sure, in a subsequent edition, we would do it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Now, who they do us?
Yes, now who they do us, calling from Terminus.
Mr. Kingsley Barnabas, you're welcome.
Yes, yes. God bless you for good work you are doing in the radio station.
Thank you very much.
You see, what I want to say this morning is your guests have spoke well, in fact. I remember when I was in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. You understand? The way they treated me, in fact, I feel like I should turn into a Muslim because that place, they welcome Christian well. They treated you. Do you know that I have told you so that I sleep in mosque? During the time of calling for mosque prayer, as they wake me, I will go out. When they pray finish, I will come and lie down inside the mosque and sleep again. Inside mosque, Why they see everywhere was very smooth and clean. You understand? The same water they used to cook water, I use the water and bath, I drink it. So that water they treated it. You understand? But when I come to Nigeria here, more especially northern states, the way they are treating Christians, in fact, more precisely here in Terminus, the way that people are treating us here, and I regret why am I member of the Nigeria, am I member of the citizens of this country? Because a man will come and carry wheelbarrow, rock your truck. When you talk to him, what he will say to you is, like me, what they will tell me, Haruna, Kapere, so they said that, you know, if you threaten that kind of a way, you know what you deserve to. I just look at them and I say, so, because of what? It's an illiterate, ignorance that is disturbing them. You understand? Yeah. So when you people are speaking in this platform, I'm so happy that we still have a Nigerian. Yes. Just like the other prof that spoke about the during Biafra war, everything. Or if I look at his statement, or one Mr. Luka Pampe, I enjoyed their program because they spoke like a Nigeria. They spoke like indigenous. You understand? So this is what I commend to you. Thank you. Keep it on.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kingsley Barnabas from Terminus in Jos City, Plateau State, Nigeria. You know, calling to say, of course, we have to stay away from our, you know, calling each other's names that we know will not be acceptable or tolerated. Please, let's stay away from that. Hello, good morning. Yeah, thank you. You may need to speak up. We barely can hear you.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. The first lady, second lady,
yes,
so to say.
I'm calling from Fina.
Okay, you still need to speak up. You're a lady. We really want to hear from you.
Hello, I really want to comment to your video.
Okay.
In fact, your guests are really spoken well.
All right.
I was even wondering which of the religion it is. Really, people should keep it up, keep enlightening people so that Nigeria will be a better place.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, you know, just appreciating the fact that it's just like Mr. Doro, when you said our president, His Excellency Bola Tinubu, he was bold, you know, to say some things over there about the other nations, you know, stealing. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, thank you. Who is on the line this morning?
Good morning.
Oh, thank you very much. You're on to Unity 93.3 FM.
Am I on to video?
Yes, you are live. You are live on Unity 93.3 FM.
Okay.
Yes, your comments. Okay, let's hear what. Okay, is our first caller. All right, any comments, please?
Okay.
All right. Well, we're having lots of first callers today, and we appreciate that fact. But please, when you call us, just tell us your name, your location, and then you go straight to telling us what you have to say on today's discussion. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, quickly.
Oh, thank you very much. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Doro.
Good morning.
Sir.
Thank you.
My name is Peace Ambassador Usman Bikram. I'm calling from ZINARIYA.
Oh, thank you very much. You have a minute. Thank you.
Actually, it could be the issue of religious inequality. Really, that is what is baffling is our country. Why I say so is, we are not considering ourselves as one family. Could be, whether we like it or not. Injustice is playing vital role in Plateau State government. Really, look at it now. Muslims are living in one place, while Christians are living in one place. The only place that we can mingle together is marketplace, where we can laugh to each other, buy and sell to each other. And when it comes to issue of politics, we are hating each other. As I mentioned before, Nigeria is the highest country that has the total numbers of churches and mosques. But we are not practicing what we are preaching. For God's sake, we have to forget everything and love each other. Look at now what is happening at India. Most of the people that used to bring goods are Christians. They will bring their goods, they will sell it to Muslim people. After they sell it, they will give them their money without hurting anybody. In fact, we have to love
further. God bless you people. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Big Seven, a peace ambassador, from our host community in ZINARIYA here. He's been a voice. He would always spend his money.
Definitely.
Some people feel we give credence, we give, preference to Big Seven. But the first time I saw him, he has 3 phones. He will always, he's calling us on either this line or the other line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you. Who's on the line, please?
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Which local government? Basa local government. Okay, you have a minute, please.
Okay. Calling from I need you to new arrogant initiation. I need some people to give us the this country. This program is over. All of them
Okay, I doubt much if I really get it, but thank you for calling anyway. We lost there. I think this is maybe the last. Or hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brothers. Good morning, Nigeria, and good morning. Thank God today is Wednesday. My name is Comrade Masu Patrick Okoroka from Blue Major School here in Anglican. Well, for the unity of this country, everybody, public and Harris, should say no to tribalism, sectionalism, religious bigotry. We can base on this and say bye-bye to all this. Nigeria is our country. We have no other place to go. Good morning.
Thank you.
From Anglo just here.
Thank you. Mercy for
yes,
short but powerful. Yes, and so of course we're gradually coming to the end. Hello, good morning.
Okay, it is Isa calling from Toro.
Isa, you're calling us from Toro. I hope you're doing well in Toro. Hello, go on. You have a minute, please.
Hello?
Yes, you have a minute.
This is Isa calling from Toro.
Isa, it's good to have you. You have a minute, please.
Okay, actually, I'm really interested in what your guest has spoken about.
Okay.
If we can all work with what you have said, we can progress in Nigeria. But by Allah, if we can remain the way we have been conducting ourselves earlier on, then it means we are going nowhere. Let us just take an issue of when we were planning for this past election.
Yes.
They said we should go for a Muslim. Look at us, all of us, both Muslim and Christian, we are suffering from this fuel issue. It has not separated the Muslim from the. Everybody is finding it very hard to be alive in Nigeria. Therefore, we have to.
Yes.
All of us work together toward finding a common ground that we can live in peace and harmony and progress in Nigeria.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much, calling us from Toro there. That's the much we can take from our callers this morning. And of course, do make yourself one of those who promote national unity. For instance, in a situation where you have people coming to call each other names like
offensive names.
Please do well, even if you're from that side of the religion. You be the ones to say stop that. For instance, if someone would say, things like aboki, and then you say,
which is derogatory.
Yes, it is. Yes. And so please let the people from that other side of the same person saying such, you just say, no, you don't do that. We are Nigerians.
And just to add to this could be, I was very interested in what, is it Adewumi or what's his name? The guy who said he had stayed
now who they do us.
I felt for him when he narrated his audio, with some Muslims in terminus where he does business and things like that. Because according to him, sometimes, on account of a little verbal altercation, people begin to call you all sorts of names and things like that. And I think if you call a Christian Arni, I'm sorry to say that on air, but I think, we're trying to actually correct a certain anomaly here. So I think we can do that. Where do you get the name from? Because in the whole Quran, as far as I know, Muslims, Christians are not addressed as such. There's a certain name by which Christians are called, and they're called Ahlul Kitab, owners of the book. And when we talk about the book, we are talking about, the Christian scripture which they actually use today, and things. There's a lot of story around that, but in the whole of the Quran, that you understand, there's no place where Christians are addressed by such derogatory or offensive names, and all of that. And this is the issue.
Yes, the issue is not just about some people, Muslim addressing Christians, but we are also saying that some Christians addressing Muslims.
No, it's vice versa.
So
it's both ways.
That's what we're saying.
I appreciate your your intervention earlier, where you draw attention to some of the names that even some, because at the end of the day, if you call somebody Aboki, your motive might be to hurt or spite the person. But Aboki is a good name, isn't it?
Yes,
it's positive, isn't
it?
But as long as the motive is to hurt or to spite or to offend, I think we're not comfortable with that. Address people. The Quran says, "Ud'u ila sabila rabbika bil hikmati wa maw'idatul hasana." Call people onto the way of your Lord. Through wisdom and beautiful preaching. Beautiful preaching. It is maw'idatul hasana bil hikmati wa maw'idatul hasana, with wisdom. And beautiful preaching. I think that if I want to, market Islam to you as a Christian, I think, you will not even listen to me if I call you names, offensive or derogatory names. You understand? If you want to market Christianity to me, I wouldn't even listen to you if you call me derogatory names and things like that. At the end of the day, I think it's the action, the character that matters, and not just how much you profess Islam and Christianity, and all of
we're
that.
rounding up now. So, we're also calling attention to there's this key one. We may not be able to read comments from our Facebook because we just have a minute to be out of here. So maybe your parting words, Mr. Dora.
Well, parting words will just be, let's be our brother's keeper. Let's love each other. Let's respect each other's boundaries. As a Christian, we know there are boundaries. There are things I can do because I'm a Muslim. There are things you can do because you're a Christian. But there are also points of convergence, right? There are points of convergence. There are lots of things that we have in common. This is an issue, and so I think we should pay more attention to those things that emphasize our commonality. You understand, and not those things that actually divide us, and things like that. At the end of the day, religion is not in words, Colby. It is in character, right? People would see you
sustainable character.
If you can, if people would actually be more interested in what you do than what you actually say.
Thank you very much. At this, we have come to the end of it. Make sure that the things you say, on the support and to sustain the efforts, to consolidate the efforts to bring about national unity. You don't say to someone that which would only make him, so reactive and so positive, negative in his reactions. And so that is it for us on Unity 93.3 FM. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day. Thank you, our listener and our viewer. I just can't not wait to be here tomorrow for another interesting edition of Unity Train. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?